Greetings everyone to your snapshot chapter. Today we are going to begin the chapter number 1, the summer of a beautiful white horse. Okay, so let's come line by line. One day back, there in the old days, when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence, and the life was still a delightful and mysterious dream. My cousin Murad, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, came to my house at 4 in the morning and woke me up tapping on the window of my room. So what happens in the first paragraph? The writer is telling the story of his childhood when he was only 9 years old. That day, actually, what happened that day? His brother Murad came in the morning, around 4 o'clock in the morning, and he tapped on his window and woke him up and said, Aram. So he called him Aram. I jumped out of the bed and looked up the window. I couldn't believe what I saw. So just as the writer has seen, the writer jumped up from his bed and he looked out of the window and he couldn't believe what he saw. It was not actually morning at that time, as it was 4 o'clock and it was summertime. And with the daybreak, not many minutes around the corner of the world, it was light enough for me to know I was not dreaming. So within a very few time, he came to know that he was not dreaming. My cousin Murad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. I stuck my head out of the window and rubbed my eyes. His cousin Murad was there and he was sitting on a horse. The writer couldn't believe on his eyes and so he rubbed his eyes again. Yes, he said in Armenian, it is a horse, you are not dreaming, make it quick if you want to ride. He offered a ride to him and asked, you are not dreaming, if you want to ride, then come down fast. I knew my cousin Murad enjoyed being alive more than anybody else who had ever fallen into the world by mistake. But this was more than ever I could believe. So writer knows his brother Murad, who was a very living creature in comparison to other who came into the world by mistake. And now he is telling about his own desire. In the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of horses and my first longing had been longing to ride. So writer is saying that what was his first desire? His first desire was related to horse and his first intense desire was to get a ride of the horse. This was the wonderful part and this is actually the wonderful part. And in the second place we were poor. But in reality actually they were poor. This was the part that wouldn't permit me to believe what I saw. So actually this part wouldn't permit him to believe what he has seen over there. And what he has seen, he's seen his brother Murad, his cousin Murad on the back of a horse. So we were poor, we had money, we had no money, our whole tribe was poverty stricken, every branch of the Gargolian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. So now he is telling about his the economical family background of the writer, of his family. He is saying that actually they all were very poor and their Gargolian family was living in the most comical poverty. Nobody could understand where we ever got money enough to keep us with food in our bellies, not even the old men of the family. So even the old men of the family, they don't know how they are getting the food, how they are getting the food for them. Okay. Secondly, most important of all, though we were famous for our honesty, we had been famous for our honesty for something like 11th century, even when we had been the wealthiest family in what we like to think was the world. So we were proud first, honest next, and after that we believed in the right and wrong. None of us could take advantage of anybody in the world, let alone steal. So in this paragraph, the writer is telling about the family background of his family. They are actually very honest from the 11th century and they are actually known for a cultured life. Okay, so none of us would take advantage of anybody in the he is also claiming that no one of his family has ever taken the advantage of anything, and stealing is a far away thing. Consequently, even though I could see the horse so magnificent, even though I could smell it. So even though he was looking, the horse was visible in front of us, it was looking so magnificent, even though he could smell it, and its smell was so lovely, even though I could hear it breathing, he can listen its breathing, so exciting, it was so exciting. He could not believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Murad, or with me, or with any one of the members of our family. So he couldn't believe what he has seen over there. Actually, as they were poor, so he is saying that the horse cannot have any relation with any of the family members or with Murad. Okay, because I knew my cousin Murad, who could not have bought the horse, or if he couldn't have bought the horse, he must have stolen it. So now the next idea also came in his mind that if he had not bought the horse, then definitely he had stolen it. But I refused to believe that he had stolen. Actually, they were very cultured, very honest, so that's why this thought was not getting retrieved in his mind. No member of the Gorgonian family could be a thief. He is saying that actually they were very honest, so no other member can be a thief. I stared first at my cousin and then at the horse. There was a pile stillness and humor in each of them, which on the one hand delighted me and on the other hand frightened me. So he was looking at first at the horse, then at the Murad. They both looking very pious, but one thought is giving him delight and the other thought is giving him a scary feeling. Murad, I said, where did you steal this horse? So from where have you stolen this horse? Leap out of the window, he said, if you want to ride. But rather answering it, he instructed me to leap out of the window if I wanted to ride. It was true then he had stolen the horse. When he denied to answer, so it was confirmed to the author, then definitely he had stolen the horse. There was no question about it, and now there is no doubt remains in it. He had come to invite me to ride or not, as I choose. So now he was just asking him to ride or not, whatever he decided to do. Next, well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else. Now there is once again an idea came into his mind that stealing a horse is not actually for a ride. It was not a really true stealing, like money. For all I knew, maybe it was not stealing at all. If you were crazy about horses the way my cousin Murad and I were, it was not stealing. It wouldn't become stealing. It would not become stealing until we offer to sell the horse. So it cannot be called a true stealing until they are not going to get the economical benefit from the horse by selling that. And I knew we would never do, and they knew it very well that they will never do this. Let me put on some clothes, I said. So I asked him, let me put on some clothes, and alright, he said, but hurry. I leaped into my clothes. He wore his clothes hurriedly. I jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up onto the horse behind my cousin Murad. So he went down and sat on the back of the horse behind his brother Murad. That year we lived at the edge of the town on Walnut Avenue. Now he is describing about his destination where actually they lived. So they lived at the edge of the town on Walnut Avenue. Behind our house was the country. There was a village behind their house, vineyards, orchards, irrigation ditches and country roads. All these things were there behind their houses. In less than 3 minutes we were on the Olive Avenue, and then the horse began to trot. So just as they reached over there, the horse began to trot. The air was new and lovely to breathe. As it was morning time, that's why air was very lovely and very new. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. My cousin Murad, who was considered one of the craziest member of our family, began to sing. Began to roar. So when we are very much delighted in childishness, we used to cry, we used to sing, and that singing cannot be called a true singing as it gives very unpleasant sound. So I mean, he began to roar. He began to roar is the exact word for that thing. So every family has a crazy streak in it somewhere, and my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of the crazy streak in our tribe. So every family, in each and every family, there is actually a crazy person. And as for the question of his family, Murad was the real person of that category. Before him was our uncle Khosrow, an enormous man with powerful head of the black hair. So there was also Uncle Khosrow, who was a very huge man with a very powerful head of the black hairs. He is having black hairs and largest mustock in the entire valley, and he is having the largest mustock in the entire Saint Joachim valley. A man of so furious in temper, so irritable, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by rodeo. So it is no harm, pay no attention to it. This phrase, it is no harm, pay no attention to it, is very important, as it gives a type of humor to all of us, to the readers. So he was very impatient, very irritable, and whenever any person said anything, he used to say this phrase, it is no harm, pay no attention to it. So that was all, no matter what anybody happened to be talking about. So this is his habit, whatever the matter, he used to talk like this. Once it was his own son Arak running 8 blocks to the barber shop where his father was having his stop trimming, to tell him his horse was on fire, his house was on fire. So once what happened, his own son Arak came to the barber shop where his father name was Khosrow. So his father Khosrow was actually there in the barber shop for getting stock trimmed. At that time his son came and told him that house was on fire. This man Khosrow sat up in the chair and wrote, it is no harm. So his own house was actually burning. Even then this particular person said it is no harm, pay no attention to it. The barber became shocked and he once again reminded him, the boy says your house is on fire. So Khosrow wrote, enough. It is no harm, I say. It's too much. When I say it's no harm, it means it is no harm. So my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of this man, although Murad's father was Zorab, who was practical and nothing else. So actually Murad was the original descendant of this man, although his original father was Zorab, who was actually a practical and nothing else. So that how it was in his tribe. A man could be the father of his son's flesh, but that didn't mean that he was also the father of his spirit. A man can give birth to his child, but that doesn't mean that his child is having all the characteristics, tendencies of the father. So the distribution of the various kinds of spirit of our tribe had been from the beginning capricious and background. So from the very beginning, the differentiation is was done in a very cynical way. We rode on my cousin Murad sang, for all if anybody knew, we were still in our own country where, at least according to some of our neighbors we let the horse run as long as it felt like running. So he was sitting behind his cousin Murad, and he was enjoying, and they allowed the horse run as fast as he could. At last my cousin Murad said, get down, I want to ride alone. Will you let me alone, I asked. So finally his brother Murad asked him to get down off the horse, as actually he wanted to enjoy the ride alone. So when he asked him, the narrator put him a question that I will get down only when you will allow me to ride alone also. So well, I said, anyway you have so we shall see, he said. Don't forget that I have a way with the horse. So he informed him, actually I know how to take a horse, how to deal with the horse. That's why I know the things. Okay. So well, I said, anyway, if you have way with the horse, I also have. I also know how to take in horses. I insist on this fact. For the sake of your safety, he said, let us hope so and get down. But so he agreed, Murad agreed upon this statement and said, okay, I am agree with you and I will allow you. Alright, I said, but remember, you have got to let me try to ride alone. But once again, finally, his brother told him that you have told me to ride alone, don't forget it. I got down and my cousin Murad kicked his heels into the horse and shouted, Wazir run. So when he got down from the horse, his brother Murad, he kicked the horse and he commanded him, Wazir run. The horse stood on his hind legs, snorted and burst into a fray of speed. That was the loveliest thing I had ever seen. So this was actually the loveliest thing that he could ever seen as the horse was running on its full swing. My cousin Murad raced the horse across a field of dry grass to an irrigation ditch, crossed the ditch on the horse and 5 minutes later returned dripping wet. So this was the way which he covered. He covered an irrigation ditch, a ditch on the horse, and after 5 minutes later he returned, and when he returned he was totally wet. The sun was coming up. Now it's my turn to ride, I said. My cousin Murad got off the horse. Ride, he said. So it was his turn now, and as his brother has come down, I leaped to the back of the horse and for a moment knew the most awful fear imaginable. The horse did not move, but when he rode on the horse didn't move. Kick into his muscle, my cousin Murad said. Murad suggested him to kick into his muscle. What are you waiting for? We have got to take him back before everybody in the world is up and about. So he is actually also fearing as the day was about to come, and he was suggesting him that we have to return this horse before the sunrise. I kicked into the muscles of the horse once again. It reared and snorted. Then it began to run. I didn't know what to do. So just as he kicked the muscles of the horse, it started to run. But now the rider didn't know how to control it. Instead of running across the field to the irrigation ditch, the horse ran down to the road of the vineyards at the Darkin Halabian, where it began to leap over vines. So he changed his way. Instead of going in the previous way, it leads into another way, that is actually the Darkin Halabian vineyards, where he destroyed almost 7 vines before I fell, and then it continued running. So the horse was lost somewhere. My cousin Murad came running down the road. I am not worried about him. He shouted, we have got to get the horse. So he just instructed him that I am not worried even a little about you, but what I want is my horse back. If you come upon him, be kindly, it will be near. I continued down the road, and my cousin Murad went across the field towards the irrigation ditch. It took half an hour to find out the horse and bring him back. So almost within half an hour, he was able to bring him back. Alright, he said, jump up, the whole world is awake now. Murad instructed Aram to jump on the horse so that they can go as the world is awake at that time. So now, there is a question in the mind of Aram. He wanted to know what the Murad is going to do. So what will we do right now? Well, he said we will either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning. So he had given him 2 options, either to return him or to hide him on the tomorrow morning. So he didn't actually sound, it didn't sound worried. He didn't sound worried. And I knew he would hide him and not take him back, not for a while at any rate. So he knows his brother very well. So he knew that definitely he is not going to return at any rate. Where will we hide him? I said. He asked him, where you are going to hide him? I know a place, he said. And how long did you steal this horse? I said. He once again insists on the fact that how much time do you have this horse? It suddenly dawned on me that he had been taking these early mornings rides for some time. So it suddenly came in his mind that definitely he is coming regularly for a ride in the morning, and I had come from this morning only because he knew how much I longed to ride. So as he came to me, as he also knew that I also wanted to ride. Who said anything about stealing a horse? He said. Anyhow, I said, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? Not until this morning, he said. When he asked from how many days you were riding the horse, he informed him, no, I am just riding the horse from this day only. Of course not, he said, but if we are found out that's what you are to say. I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know is that we started riding this morning. Alright, I said. So he said that as you know that we both have started from today's morning. Then why are you asking all these things? So I said, all right. He walked the horse quite to the one of the deserted vineyards. When at one time had been the pride of farmers named the Fetsvian. So he put the horse in the vineyards, and that was actually the pride of a farmer named Fetsvian. There were some oats and dry alfalfa in the barn. We began to walking home, and after that time, after a certain period of time, after just leaving the horse over there, they returned to their houses. So it was not easy. It was not easy, he said, to get the horse to behave so nicely. Now he is just talking about how he dealt with the horse. So it was not very easy. He said at first it wanted to run wild, but as I have told you, I have a way with the horse. I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do. Horses understand me. How do you do it? I said. So he told him that I know how to deal with the horses, and horses understand me better. I have an understanding with the horse, he said. Yes, but what sort of understanding? I said. So when Murad said that I know how to deal with the horse with an understanding, so Aram also asked, which type of understanding are you talking about? A simple and honest one, he said. Well, I said I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse. Aram insists on the fact I also want to learn this understanding. At this, Murad said that when you will be older like me, of around 13 years old, then you will be able to know how to deal with the horse. If I went to my net hearty breakfast, that afternoon my uncle Khosrow came to our house. So that afternoon his uncle Khosrow came to their house for a coffee and cigarettes. He sat in the parlor sitting and smoking and remembering old country. Then another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Byro. John Byro is very important character, please pay attention. So John Byro and brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco, and he rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked. And then at last, singing sadly, he said, my white horse, which was stolen last month, is gone. I cannot understand it. So he informed us that his white horse was stolen by someone. This thing the writer couldn't understand, means Aram couldn't understand. My uncle Khosrow became very irritated and shouted, it is no harm. So as per his habit, his uncle Khosrow said there is no harm at all. And what is the loss of a horse? Have not we lost the homeland? What is this crime over a horse? You are talking about horse, we have lost our homes. So why are you becoming so crazy? That may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say, John Byro said. But what of my Surrey? Then what will happen to my cart right now? Surrey means cart. What good is a Surrey without a horse? What will be the use of a Surrey without a horse? I walked 10 miles to get here, John Byro said. You have legs, my uncle Khosrow. When John Byro insists on the fact that I came over here on foot near about 10 miles. Uncle said, okay, it's okay, you have legs, then there is nothing special in it. My left leg pains me, the farmer said. So he replied that actually there is some problem in his left leg. Pay no attention to it, my uncle Khosrow wrote. So just as per his habit, once again, as per humor, his uncle is saying, pay no attention to that. That horse cost me $60, the farmer said. So actually, finally he said that actually I have spent around $60 for this horse, and this made Uncle Khosrow very angry, and once again he said, I will spit on the money. Okay? Now, he got up and stalked out of the horse, slamming the screen door. My mother explained he has a gentle heart. She said it is simply that he is homesick and such a large man. So my mother explained that actually he is very good nature. So that's why there is some problem. So don't get hurted. He is a very good fellow. The farmer went away, and I went over to my cousin Murad's house. When his farmer went away from there, he went to Murad's house and he was sitting under a peach tree trying to repair the hurt wing of a young robin. So he was there, he was just trying to repair the wings of a young robin. Robin is a kind of bird. He was talking to the bird, and he was talking to the bird. What is it, he said. The farmer John Byro, I said, he visited our house, he wants his horse. You have had it a month. So he informed me, now I came to know that you are having this horse from last 1 month, and I want you to promise not to take it back until I learn you to ride. Now the intense desire of riding the horse is also came in the mind of Aram, and he said, I also want to learn, and you will have to give me a promise that you will not return the house until I learn how to ride. It will take you a year to learn the ride, my cousin Murad said. We couldn't keep the horse a year, he said. So he insists on the fact that actually it will take near about 1 year, and we cannot keep this horse for 1 year. And he leaped on his feet. So, and he said, are you inviting a member of the Lergulian family to steal? Means we cannot steal the things for 1 year. The horse must go back to its true owner. So when I said, then I asked for how much time you can keep it. So he said that for not more than 6 months in the latest, he said. He threw the word into the air, the word tried hard, almost fell twice, but at last flew away high in speed. So he was actually dealing with the word. He threw that word into the air, and after 2 falls, the word was able to flew in the sky right. Early every morning for the 2 weeks, my cousin Murad and I took the horse out of the barn of the deserted vineyards where we were hiding it and rode it. So for the next 2 weeks, they enjoyed the horse riding every morning, and when it was my turn to ride alone, leaped over the grapevine and small trees and threw me and ran away. And when the turn of the Murad, turn of the Aram came, he threw him and ran away. Nevertheless, he hoped in no time to learn to ride the way my cousin Murad would. One morning on the way of the Petrian deserted vineyard, we ran into the farmer John Byro, who was on his way to town. So once they were going to just hide their horse into the Petrian deserted vineyards, John Byro happened to meet them. Let me do the talking, my cousin Murad said. I have agreed with the farmer. See, now Murad, showing his seniority, once again he interrupted Aram and said that I will handle this matter. Let me talk. Good morning, John Byro, my cousin Murad said to the farmer. So cousin Murad greeted him by saying good morning. He also replied, yes, son of my friends, good morning. What is the name of your horse? My heart, my cousin Murad said in Romanian. So he asked the name of his horse, and his Murad replied that the name of the horse is my heart. Okay. So a lovely name, John Byro said, for a lovely horse. I could swear it is the horse that was stolen from many weeks ago. So John Byro said it's really very lovely name, and the horse is really lovely, and I could swear that it is my horse which was stolen from me many weeks ago. May I look into his mouth? So he also asked for the permission. May I look into his mouth? Of course, Murad said. The farmer looked into the mouth of the horse, and tooth for tooth. He looked into the mouth of the horse and said, exactly the same tooth he is having. I would swear it is my horse if I didn't know your parents. If your family, your parents were not famous for the honesty, then definitely I would swear on the fact that this is my horse, this horse belongs to me. The fame of your family for honesty is well known to me, yet the horse is the twin of my horse. May be possible that as your family is very honest, so may be possible that this horse actually is the twin of my horse. A suspicious man would believe his eyes instead of his heart. Good day, my young friends. By saying so, he just he took farewell from them. Good day, John Byro, my cousin Murad said. Early the following morning, we took the horse to John Byro's vineyard and put it in the barn. So next morning, they returned the horse, they went to the John Byro's vineyards, and there they put it in the barn. The dogs followed us around without making a sound. There were dogs, but they made no sound at all, but they were following Aram and Murad. My cousin Murad put his arm around the horse, pressed his nose into the horse's nose, patted it, and then we built him. So the final touch of greeting Murad was having with the horse. He just pressed his nose against the nose of the horse. He patted on the back of the horse, and then he left the vineyard. That afternoon, John Byro came to our house in the Surrey and showed my mother the horse that had been stolen and returned. So the same afternoon, John Byro came with the horse, and he informed my mother that his stolen horse it had been returned. I don't know what to think. He said, the horse is stronger than ever, better tempered too. I thank God. My uncle Khosrow, who was in the parlor, became irritated, shouted, quiet man, quiet. Your horse had been returned, pay no attention to it. Even then his horse was returned, then Uncle Khosrow was saying the same thing as he was saying. So as Shreya was asking a question, what is the morale that we have received? So actually the morale is all about that these children have done, though they have stolen the things, stolen the horse, but that stolen doesn't mean to hurt anyone. That was not the true stealing that they have did, okay. And so they also, when they came to know, they returned the horse. So this is all about the chapter. Still, if you have any query, you can ask me into the school WhatsApp group. Okay. Thank you. Keep learning and keep watching.